Hello, my divine souls. Welcome to Spiritual Bloom, where we bloom within our consciousness, with your spiritual guide and Twinflame coach Neha. In today's episode, we will be talking about how to draw healthy boundaries in your Twinflame journey. Now, if you're on this journey, you've probably heard people say that love unconditionally or never give up on your twin flame or your counterpart. Or some people might have even told you that keep waiting because divine timing will bring you together. But somewhere along the way, many people misunderstand unconditional love. They think and believe that unconditional love means tolerating disrespect. It means accepting breadcrumbs or allowing emotional manipulation, or even think that abandoning themselves is absolutely fine. But this is not unconditional love. Instead, this is self-abandonment. So one of the biggest spiritual lessons in this journey is learning how to love deeply without losing yourself. And in this video, today, the most important spiritual practices that twin flames they overlook is healthy boundaries. That is what we are going to talk about. Because boundaries do not push your twin flame away. Healthy boundaries actually create the energetic conditions that is necessary for divine union, because they restore self-respect, emotional stability, and energetic balance. Now, you must be wondering that what are boundaries specifically, especially in spirituality or twin flame journey. Now most people they think that boundaries are walls. Spiritually they are not walls, they are sacred doors. A wall will say that I'll never let anyone in because it is wounded. But a healthy boundary says that I choose consciously who enters my energy and my life. So the divine itself has boundaries. The universe operates through sacred laws. Nature has boundaries. The ocean stops at the shore. The earth has seasons, and every cell in your body has a membrane. Without boundaries, life cannot exist. Likewise, without energetic boundaries, your soul cannot flourish. Because boundaries protects your peace, not your ego. That's why creating boundaries feels extremely difficult in this journey. Now, why do twin flames struggle with boundaries? Because many twin flames they grew up in dysfunctional family systems. Perhaps having emotionally unavailable parents, narcissistic caregivers, or absent parent, over-controlling family, emotional neglect. Because of childhood trauma, many they have learned that if I keep giving, maybe I'll be finally loved. That's why they end up attracting karmic relationship, karmic marriages, because they seek to be saved, that if I keep on giving they will love me more. But that is absolutely wrong concept. This is a misconception you need to clear. This conditioning follows them into the twin flame journey also. So instead of loving, what they do is they overgive. Instead of supporting, they rescue. Instead of trusting divine timing, they start chasing. And instead of surrendering, they try to control the situation. So the twin flame connection exposes these unhealthy patterns because your counterpart mirrors your deepest wound. The issue is rarely the connection itself. The issue is how trauma teaches us to relate to love. How you have to get yourself out of that traumatic situation and finally relate and love yourself. Bring and tap into unconditional love. Now, you need to understand in which situations you need to build a stronger boundary. Now you have to ask yourself honestly that do you constantly check their social media, or do you lose sleep thinking about them, or you feel guilty for choosing yourself, or do you often say yes when you actually want to say no? You tolerate disrespect because you think that they are my twin flame. You stop living your own life while you're waiting for your counterpart. you ignore your intuition because you're afraid that they'll leave? And if yes, it means that your nervous system is operating from survival. It is not operating from love. Remember, an anxious attachment is not unconditional love. Trauma bonding is not divine union. An obsession is not spiritual connection. Because healing begins when awareness begins. Now, what does healthy boundary look like? Healthy boundaries may sound like I love you, but I will not accept any form of disrespect. I forgive you, but I don't have to stay in unhealthy dynamics. I honor our soul connection, but I prioritize and honor myself first. I trust divine timings, therefore, I will not force any kind of outcomes. Now, boundaries are not punishments. Instead, they are act of self-love. It means that you love yourself so much, you will not allow any kind of chaotic situations or drama in your life. You will never entertain them. Your boundaries may also look like not responding to people immediately, taking space to heal, limiting contact, or ending toxic conversations, relationships, friendships, saying no without feeling guilty, protecting your energy after emotional triggers. But remember that none of these blocks divine union. Instead, they strengthen the chances of coming into divine love and divine union. Now you must be thinking that you might create boundaries with your family members or your friends or at workplace, but how do you build boundaries with your counterpart? Because there is a very big misconception, and that misconception is that if I create distance, I'll lose my twin flame. Actually, the opposite is often true, because distance creates clarity, space creates healing, silence creates transformation, and one twin, when they stop chasing, the energetic imbalance begins correcting itself. This is not manipulation. Instead, it is energetic alignment. So if your counterpart repeatedly lies, gaslights you, disrespects you, you are allowed to step back, and that is not manipulation or being selfish. Because unconditional love does not require unconditional access. You do not need to give your access if that person does not respect you. That sentence may change your entire journey. Love can remain, love will always be there, but access becomes conditional. And when your access becomes conditional, your dynamic starts getting healthier. Because you've drawn the line and you showed the other person that you cannot do whatever you like. You cannot treat people the way you like. That is where you break their ego. Now this is not manipulation. You are doing it so that they realize that they are doing something wrong. And when that realization hits them, they actually start doing their shadow work. They feel your absence in your life. They feel that you're absent. You're no more accessible like before. And that awakens something within them. So when you limit your access, it is not manipulation. It is not something selfish. It means that you are protecting your peace, you are protecting your self-respect, and at the same time you are allowing the other person to grow into their own individual journey. Now, many twin flames, they spend years trying to heal everyone else, sometimes healing parents, siblings, relatives, friends, and eventually the soul learns something profound. Meaning, you cannot heal someone who refuses healing. They have been used to that dynamic since many years. Suddenly, your explanation or your movement or you're trying to explain someone, that is not going to change because they refuse healing. So, you have to set an example by taking your responsibility to develop your consciousness. You need to have a better clarity and understanding of your consciousness, because when you do that, it will be easier for you to draw boundaries. Now remember that energetic boundaries and physical boundaries are something different. Not every boundary is physical, some are energetic. Like, stop consuming negative content all day. When you keep on scrolling for hours, reels, unnecessary video contents, keep a check on it, because that also drains your energy. Avoid constantly checking tarot card readings. That also drains your energy because it keeps you hooked. And keeping you hooked energetically means you are into some kind of attachment. Don't depend on psychics for every decision. And reduce obsessive twin flame videos if they trigger anxiety. Stay away from twin flame videos. Energy check-in. What happened to my counterpart? Is he sleeping or he's dead or he disappeared? When will he come back? Don't do all that shit. These are all mind manipulations. It's a trap. It's a trap. It will always keep you trapped. It will keep you attached. It will be very difficult for you to come out of that trap if you don't slowly create a habit of not watching those videos frequently. Protect your nervous system. Ground yourself. Try to journal. Open your heart chakra. Balance your root chakras. Balance your all your chakras are important. You need to balance it all. Because the stronger your inner energy becomes, the less external chaos controls you. And that is where exactly you know where to draw the boundary. Because boundaries are a form of self-love. The divine doesn't ask you to sacrifice yourself. The divine asks you to remember yourself. So when you honor yourself, your vibration completely changes. Your confidence increases, peace increases, discernment increases. And ironically, this is where your counterpart often begins noticing the energetic shift. Not because you're trying to attract them, because you finally come home to yourself. And that is what we call inner union. So, in daily life, you need to build healthy boundaries. You have to choose your peace over people pleasing. You have to pause before saying yes to someone. You have to listen to your body's response. How is it reacting? If something drains your energy repeatedly, if a person, environment, job drains you repeatedly, pay attention. Pay attention to that situation. So, limit emotional over-explaining. You don't need to over-explain anybody. You don't need to give justification. Not everyone deserves access to your deepest emotions. Rest without feeling guilty. Don't think that I did not work enough. I was not productive enough. Rest, it's okay. Today was just another day that you couldn't work for 3 hours, and it's fine. You couldn't study for 3 hours. You studied only for half an hour or 45 minutes. It's okay. You're not a machine. Because healing requires nervous system regulation, not constant productivity. Your twin flame journey is not teaching you how to hold on to another person. It is teaching you how to hold on to yourself. Because your counterpart is not your destination. Your destination is your awakened consciousness. Boundaries are not barriers to love. They are the foundation upon which healthy love is actually built. So, in this episode, I would like to say that you do not honor the twin flame connection by abandoning yourself. You honor it by becoming the highest version of yourself. Your boundaries are not acts of rejection. They are declaration of self-respect. So the more you respect yourself, the more you align with your divine essence. And whether reunion happens tomorrow or years from now or in another lifetime, you will already have discovered the greatest union of all. That is, the sacred union within yourself. And this is where every authentic twin flame journey truly begins. So if you like this episode, do like, share, subscribe and comment. For any kind of personal guidance, you can WhatsApp or email me. My contact details have been given in the description box and mentioned in the video. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for supporting, my videos, my channel. I'm so grateful. I'll see you again in another episode.